Well, hello everybody. Spegtacular, the Silver Stacular, is here with some metals on my table. Why are these metals on my table? Because they are needed every single day for industry. And that's one of my favorite parts about metals. You can say whatever fantasies you want about what metals are going to do, blah, blah, blah. But long story short, metals are always going to be valuable because we use them every single day. Whatever you're watching me from right there in YouTube land, it requires you to use metals in those devices in order to see me. It's just the way the world is today. I'm sorry. If you don't want to believe it, that's the truth. There's silver or copper somewhere in just about every electronic device that you have. And you look at like kids today. A lot of kids have tablets. Those have silver and copper inside of them. Other metals too. You look at how they have to sometimes participate in classrooms via the internet. I did that when I went to college. And that required me to use silver and copper and other metals in order to participate in those classroom events. That's just the way the world is today. Our vehicles, our energy, it's all relying on metals. And one of my favorite metals, and a lot of my viewers too, is right here, the old lead metal. Industrial need is big in the metals world, and that's why I love metals so much. You can forget about some of the fantasy stuff just for a moment. It's just really about the need. It's not going to zero. It's here to stay. And another metal that a lot of my fans love, and you can read the comments once in a while, they mention it, that they absolutely adore this metal, and I've been an investor too for quite a while, is uranium. It's not one of those kind of metals where you just want a bunch stacked up in your house. Not probably a good idea unless you want to turn into the Hulk one day, in a bad way probably. But uranium is a really, really smart metal to invest in, and I want to tell you how you can do it. All right, as always, I'm going to have information down in the description of this video so you yourself can do some research on Uranium Royalty Corp and also check out their ticker symbol on the NASDAQ, so it's easy to find no matter what exchange you're using. It should be plenty easy to find. UROY, UROY, and look, it's like $1.50 right now. It's actually a little bit less than that because the market took a dip. So it's a great time, in my opinion, to go ahead and consider something like uranium because it's in a hot position right now. Both sides of the aisle, no matter what side you're on politically, are in agreement that we got to have clean energy and we got to have lots of it, right? So we need it bad. It's getting worse and worse, the energy crisis, and it's just going to, as more and more people need energy and we need resources, it's just going to be something we have to consider more and more. And uranium and nuclear power that comes from uranium are, in my opinion, going to be the answers. And Uranium Royalty Corp kind of agrees with that. Here's a company right here, and I think I have in their presentation. I'll try to get some of this stuff right here, which is all easy to access, and down in the description of the video so that you can check it out. You know, I do want to say, of course, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm a guy on YouTube that does videos about precious metals. I personally believe in this stuff. I've been an investor with Uranium Energy Corp, with Uranium Royalty Corp, and others that they have been, big fans of too. And so, it's not something that I'm afraid to get involved in. I'm a believer in uranium energy. So, and the people that work in this particular company, Uranium Royalty Corp, like Amir Adnani, I have a lot of confidence in those people. And like I said, do your own research. Don't just rely on me to tell you whatever. Consider this for yourselves and tell me what you think. But generally, if I see this man right here involved in a company, I'm going to give it some extra research too because he seems to be doing a darn good job. Wise, he knows what he's doing. And actually, I have before I start going on, I had a video clip right here where he was speaking on Fox Business about how some of this current regime in the United States is trying to, put extra taxing on companies that are trying to drill and mine energy sources here in the United States. And so they are relying on sources from other countries, communist countries, which made no sense to me and kind of doesn't make sense to them. A lot of this stuff needs to happen over here. I think a lot of people have been saying that for years, that things need to happen in the United States. And the day when this starts coming on more and more and more, when let's just say a political member, that has happened in the past now, but when a political member has guaranteed that we're going to be starting to make America first and, mine more here, Companies like Uranium Royalty Corp, it's going to be very, very positive for them. I can almost guarantee that. So, keep an eye on some of these dips that are in the market right now that are short term because of what's going on, and look to the future, because I think that Uranium Royalty Corp, for a mid to long term hold, could definitely pay off very well, in my opinion. I mean, have your own opinion too, as always.
Now, there's a couple things that I find interesting right now with Uranium Royalty Corp. One, you can check their news and you can see that in their MacArthur River project, they've elected to take physical uranium rather than cash from that. So, as a royalty, and rather than take cash, they said, hey, we want the physical uranium to store. And how insanely awesome is that? As a stacker, that kind of means a lot to me. That'd be like my employer saying, hey, you want cash or precious metals this month? And I go, precious metals. Also, some fascinating news is that an analyst actually gives them a price target of about $5.70, which is well over what they currently are. So if that price target ends up panning out, that's a big, big return for people that are investing in them early.
But look at the portfolio on Uranium Royalty Corp. Now, you know what a royalty is, right? I mean, it's like, so the company Uranium Royalty Corp, they see these companies that are doing things that they're interested in, which has to involve uranium, and they basically loan them money, right? They get them started or they get them going. And in return, these companies listed right here that are involved in uranium have to share some of the rewards of their finds with Uranium Royalty Corp. And it just keeps going. That's part of the agreement. And so Uranium Royalty Corp has a vested interest in all of these companies because they want to see them succeed, because that pays them, right, every time they find something. And so these companies all want to do good, right, too, because every time they find something, they get paid. So it works in a very, very mutual little arrangement there. But you look at some of these companies that are involved with Uranium Royalty Corp, Uranium Energy Corp, which is a nice big company. I believe that one's on the New York Stock Exchange, so easy to find. I've been an investor with them and Uranium Royalty Corp. But you have 15 total companies that are involved in this that are basically partly owned by Uranium Royalty Corp. So it's a really interesting business to go ahead and take a part of if you're going to be an investor. If you believe in uranium at all, if you believe in the future, if you believe that metals are not going to zero, especially crazy, popular ones like uranium, which is going to, provide you with the power for the future and nuclear power. We need this stuff, and it's just going to be something that the world is fighting over more and more. Like I said, the power sources, because in order for us to survive, we become that kind of population now, and I'm talking about the whole world, where we rely on power and energy, and this is it. This is what's the future. I mean, whether you want to believe it or not, and like I said, I think for a mid to long term hold, especially if other powers are involved in the say so in a couple of years here in the United States, uranium is going to be a really, really big deal. And so I think that this right here, the opportunity at $2.50, is going to be a very, very looked back upon opportunity. We're going to be like, wow, look what this was. Look at our opportunity right here. So, it's like I said, I'm an investor. If that helps you at all, it doesn't matter to me. I mean, that's, just something I'm telling you that I've looked into it. I think it's a good thing, and, I've been involved. Like I said, I'll try to get some of this PowerPoint on there. It basically gives you information about their portfolio, Uranium Royalty Corp's portfolio, and kind of like the royalty part and what they're earning from each place. So, for instance, the MacArthur River area, 1% GOR on 9% share, and they're in Canada. You have another one, Canada. So a lot of mining goes on in Canada because they don't have all the restrictions, probably like the United States, right? I don't know why we do that over here. We could just be relying on ourselves, but it is what it is. Here you have some over in Wyoming, South Dakota, New Mexico. And like I said, there's like 15 of these things, and it's growing all the time. So who knows what's going to happen in a couple of years for this company right here. Let's see. Here, right here, this is what I was talking about. It says Uranium Royalty Corp is vested in the success of its portfolio counterparties. So it says the ability to provide non-dilutive project financing, and thorough due diligence and selection process offers third-party endorsement to projects in the URC portfolio. And URC capital markets presence provides expanded visibility. An experienced URC team offers uranium market and development insights to counterparty management and boards. So again, they are interested in those companies succeeding that they're doing business with, that they're providing royalties from. Well, they provided money, so they get royalties from those companies, but they need them to succeed, because that's how Uranium Royalty Corp ends up being successful. So again, this is all good stuff. But I mean, tell me what you think. Like I said before early in the video, a lot of my viewers tend to like things like silver and gold, obviously, and then lead. And then they always mention uranium. And that's what originally got me into the uranium game, is people kept on mentioning it. And I was like, what are these guys talking about uranium? I thought they were joking, because I was like, how can you hold uranium in your house? You know, there's things like uranium glass and things like that, but not just like the yellow, dirt, the yellow metal. It looks like dirt. They call it like yellow cake. You just can't hold that stuff too much in your house, right? Because then all of a sudden, like, you start turning like radioactive. So I didn't know that this was even a possibility. But then as I started researching it more and finding all these companies that are involved in it, I was like, hey, what a great way to get involved in it and not have to store that stuff in my house, because that wouldn't make a lot of sense, right? It's not like I can go to the local bullion shop and just unload my uranium. So this is my option right here. This is from their actual website. And again, I'll have this stuff down in the description of the video, so you can do your own research, because I totally think you should. Uranium Royalty Corp, the first and only pure play uranium royalty company. Investing in URC. Uranium Royalty Corp is focused on gaining exposure to uranium prices by making strategic investments in uranium interests, including royalties, streams, debt, and equity in uranium companies, as well as through physical uranium transactions. The company's strategy recognizes the inherent cyclicality of valuations based on uranium prices, including the availability of capital in different pricing environments. They thought of everything. And listen, have you thought of everything? That's the question I have to ask you. You are a believer in precious metals, right? If you're watching my channel and you've watched this far, you're beyond just the coin collector right now. Now you're, a precious metals person, I would imagine, if you're watching this far. So, you and me are just alike, because we both think that silver and gold are big deals, right? But there's other metals out there too that are really, really important to our everyday lives, and are going to be more and more important to our future lives. And uranium is going to be one of those. It's going to be something that's here to stay, and it's going to be something that's going to be above and beyond each and every year, because we need it as the population grows, as the need for power, comes each and every day. We have to have this stuff. And so, like I said, I don't want to be storing this over here on my shelf. I can't be doing that. It's going to be hard to explain to the wife why I'm turning green and glowing one day because all the radiation. But I can rely on companies that are getting this stuff out of the ground, or providing money to other companies who are getting this stuff out of the ground and getting royalties from them. And so it's almost like owning 15 companies at once when you get involved with something like Uranium Royalty Corp. So I do want you to check it out. The future is bright for things like this, and it's just something that's going to be bigger and bigger all the time. Check them out, do the research, and tell me what you think. I think you're going to end up being one of those commenters that end up saying how much they also believe in uranium. Some commenters, they can't get on board with some of the things I say. And listen, everybody's allowed to have their own opinion, no problems. But typically, a lot of people agree right here. They can't find any kind of serious negatives about uranium. It's actually even safe. That's one of the arguments is, oh, it's not safe. Well, Contrary, and I think I had it somewhere. If not, it's on the PowerPoint presentation. You can probably find it yourself. It's actually very safe. Well, here's a little example right here. It doesn't really give you proof, but it says it. I'm sure there's proof elsewhere. Nuclear energy, clean, safe, reliable, and economic. Perfect complement to renewable wind and solar. Provides hedge against high natural gas prices and saves lives and improves quality of life. Nuclear power equals carbon-free, clean energy, 55% of America's clean energy. So here's the life cycle carbon emissions from selected electricity supply technologies. And you can see coal, not so good, right? Pretty high over here on the list. Gas, still high. Biomass, surprisingly, biomass, still not that great, right? Kind of a lot of emissions still. Solar, way better, okay? Geothermal, better yet. Hydropower, awesome. Wind, a little controversy between hydropower and wind as far as what they can hurt, but at least for the emissions part, those are solid options, right? But wait, there's one more that actually beats every single thing on the list when it comes to emissions. Look at that, nuclear. It's like zero. It's like just above zero. Kind of crazy. What does it say? The only low carbon energy source that provides scalable 24/7 baseload power, and it's right here, nuclear. And here's another graph. And again, this is all available to you. I don't got to keep on ranting on about this. You can go check it out for yourself. But here we are. Nuclear power equals safest form of electricity generation. Nuclear has the lowest cost, lowest energy accident fatalities for OECD countries. And coal, bad, not good for fatalities. I don't know that I could work in a company like that. Jeez, I mean, I'm laughing, but it's kind of sad. I'd see this graph and be like, yeah, I'm not working there. You start coming down the list and talk about safe. Even solar. Solar has, a higher amount than 0.01 on the nuclear. That's crazy. So safe, reliable, clean. That's your solution. That's the future. And the company that I would suggest looking into is Uranium Royalty Corp. Big on my list. Nice and low priced in my opinion right now. But do your own research. Check it out. Let me know what you think. Again, down in the description, check it out. Do your research. Uranium Royalty Corp's website will be down there. The stock ticker symbol, UROY on the NASDAQ will be down there. And if I can fit anything else down there, I'm going to do it too. But let me know what you think about uranium. And appreciate you for watching and giving it some thought. I got to go for now. Spegtacular is out.